Hey, this is Ish, and today I want to talk to you about common traits that high vibration people have in common. And this is the third part of this series, so you can watch my other two talks if you'd like to learn more. But just as a recap of those talks, some of the traits that they have in common are having a lightness of being, having a glimmer or shine in their eyes, so this indicates their inner state. Number three would be them being very focused, playful, being able to lift other people up, having a very caring and loving nature, and also just not being able to relate to drama or petty squabbles, even insecurities as well. Because the reason why is because their vibration is so high that they aren't really able to come down to relate with like petty squabbles or just different dramas. The next would be them being less reactive and also passionate, just about things in life and different hobbies and things that they're working on. And since creating the last two talks, and it's been over a year since I've been hanging out with a lot of people that vibrate at a higher frequency than me and who are what I call high vibration people. And just hanging around their presence, I've kind of gathered some more insights as to some of the things that they have in common. And the next thing I've found is that high vibration people just naturally have a tendency to want to be more rather than do more or to have more. And this is a common paradigm in the self-help community where there is a being, doing, and having paradigm. So when you're in a having paradigm, this is typically indicative of lower vibrations habitually is when you're constantly in a state of wanting things. And you can look into a rap video, for example, and you'll see all the same themes where someone wants to show off or get one up over the next person. They might have certain addictions, and you can see that it generally like radiates within a certain frequency of shared behaviors. And the common thread is that people don't have enough satisfaction in their lives, so they tend to want to grasp for more things. And what you'll find is that the lower your personal vibration is, the more you need to feel satisfied. So the more external stimulus you need, the more like drugs or addictions or certain things you need from the external environment that you aren't getting internally. And then eventually what will happen is that once you break out of certain patterns of apathy or depression or just laziness, and you start to get into the mid levels of energy, you start to switch your focus on having and wanting material things or external stimulation to more doing things more. So you're in a state of activity. So this is where you have people that have goals. They writing the to-do list every day, and they're hustling after different things. And this is certainly a much higher vibration than grasping for things. And this is a perfectly healthy vibration to have, to want to accomplish things and go after things. So these are your go-getters. But there is an inherent lack associated with this because you're constantly striving and chasing after a goal rather than enjoying the process itself. And you're constantly like climbing a ladder, and you feel very unfulfilled until you get the thing. And once you have it, obviously, you're going to feel unfulfilled. So it's a constant loop. So the next step up from the doing paradigm is what is called being. So this is just being and enjoying yourself as it is. And you'll find that when you're in a flow state, for example, or you're like when you're meditating or you're working on a novel and you're completely immersed in it, or you're just doing some activity that you love, time seems to fly by. You're not preoccupied by different things that you want, and you're not like grasping for things. Rather, you're able to just enjoy the experience as it is. And this is a very high vibration state because essentially that'll like filter your own reality and everything around you, where you're just naturally very happy, you enjoy everything around you, and things just come to you a lot easier because there's no struggle involved. You're not trying to grasp anything, and you're just simply enjoying the experience of certain things. And this is very rewarding. And this actually has a feedback loop where the more you just enjoy being, the more things that you'll find naturally rewarding, and you kind of get into that loop. Now, the second quality that a lot of high vibration people share in common is the attitude or feeling of oneness. And this is a lack of separation. So you see everyone as a part of you or an extension of yourself, and there isn't a separation. And what do I mean by separation? So often in life, because of our ego and different patterns and our conditioning, we tend to put ourselves in a certain box and other people in different boxes. So you might have heard of the us versus them mentality. And this is very common in rock music, so I am guilty of this because I used to listen to, and I still do, a lot of rock music where, you're in this little corner and everyone else is, the world is in this other corner and everyone's out to get you, or everyone has done you wrong. And you can see this a lot in these TV shows like Maury or Jerry Springer. And we watch it like, as a joke. But for them, the participants, I'm sure they're actually living in that reality where everything's very serious. And this is because they're this separate island on their own and everyone's out to get them. So they create this separation and this causes them more suffering. And on the flip side, people who are very high in vibration, they are like living their lives, they're very happy. For them, there's no separation. Everything is just a part of themselves, and they know that if they treat other people well as they would themselves, so they get what they put out. And this positive energy just not only applies to other people, but also yourself. So you also want to think of it that way, that beating yourself up or, kind of shaming yourself is actually not good either. So you don't want to make yourself a martyr and, put other people above yourself, but actually put yourself on an even playing field as well. So that's the other side of the coin. But ideally you want to treat other people well and also yourself pretty well too, and you'll get that back to you. And one exercise to actually practice this is to practice both gratitude and also loving kindness exercises. And loving kindness exercises is when you think of yourself and other people and you say, may I be happy, may I be well, may I be free from suffering, or some variation of that. And then you also extend those feelings out to other people. And, this is a separate talk on its own. But essentially, when you're able to provide the same, if you get the same feeling of loving kindness, when you extend those feelings out to yourself and also other people, and they both feel the same, that's how you know you're kind of on the right track. Because there's ideally no separation between giving love and kindness to yourself and no resistance, and giving to yourself and also other people as well. And obviously, you are still a human being, so you will get angry at other people, and there's other situations that'll throw you off center. But you'll notice that through practicing these practices and overall expanding your vibration, the instances of where you feel separate from other people tends to go down a lot. And that's all we can really hope for, is positive change and growth over time. Now, the next trait that a lot of high vibration people have in common is smiling without any reason. Now, a lot of people base their happiness on external situations and circumstances, and as we may know from Eastern spirituality and Eastern philosophies, is that when you put happiness on changing circumstances, you tend to feel unhappy, because obviously those happy situations may turn bad. There's different cycles in life, so you can't expect a constant roller coaster ride of happiness just going upwards all the time. So when you're able to place your happiness on unchanging things, and you just naturally feel happy for no reason, this is actually a very good sign, because you're not basing it on anything in particular. And you'll notice that this tendency to be happy and smiling for no reason it tends to be in common for both introverts and extroverts. So it's not just a thing that is relegated just for upbeat extroverted types that are constantly smiling and super joyful. I'm sure a good example of this is like Jake Ducey. He's a YouTuber. If you've ever seen his videos, he's always smiling and always like that too.
Some outside force to make us smile, or you could just, for no reason, do this. And either way, you will feel the joy of being alive.
But you can also see this in introverts as well, where they have more of a subdued smile, but you can still see that there's more of a glow on the inside. So someone like this would be a contemporary Zen teacher named Adyashanti. And I think he's like a non-dual teacher, actually, that's the right word. But in either case, he's very laid back in nature. He's not very expressive like Jake Ducey, but at the same time, you can see that there's the inner glow that comes from him. He has a warm smile, and he smiles for no reason.
Really happy people aren't pursuing happiness. You ever notice? And of course, we think that, of course, they're not pursuing happiness because they've already got happiness. Do you see what I mean? But it's just possible that maybe they've got happiness because they're not pursuing it.
And this is very much like my previous point where I say that high vibration people have a glow in their eyes. So this is the same thing, where the smile actually indicates their inner state rather than their outer state. Now, the last thing that I would like to mention is that high vibration people are very creative. And the reason why is that when you are not so immersed in your ego and your everyday, day-to-day realities, and you're able to touch what is called the source, or at least get some glimpses of this or awareness, this is what is called your true self. Essentially what happens is you're tapping into a wider source that is connected with everything around you. And this may sound a little woo-woo or like out there, but when you get to a place when you have like no thoughts and you feel very expansive energetically, you are able to tap into the different things in the environment. You're able to pick up on things because you're just not stuck in your little reality of me. So you're not like running on different patterns or like autopilot. You actually take a time to take a pause, and you're gathering new ideas, new information. You're actually able to like look outside your environment and look at different cues and patterns and how this connects with this. So as a result, a lot of people that or tend to be into the spiritual like realities, or artists or like other creative types that are able to step outside their personal ego, they'll find that they have this like new ability of being like very creative. And if it's like their first time doing this, or they really get deep into meditation, or perhaps they're like really getting into their art and getting into a flow state, this will naturally come to them and they're not used to it. But this is completely natural and something that a lot of people that are in high vibration states all the time tend to experience a bit more. And I personally notice this myself whenever I go to longer meditation retreats. All of a sudden I get these like bursts of ideas and concepts and creativity because, in an environment like that, you're not really thinking of your ego concerns or anything like that because you're just meditating for like 10 hours a day, right? Nothing else to do. So, you get firsthand experience of this. And if this is something you'd like to experience, well, you can take some time to meditate and really connect and actually meditate for a bit longer than you used to. And you'll find that all these insights all of a sudden start to come. Or you can do any other activity that will basically get you away from your daily activities of the ego and your activities of trying to like hustle or grind or like trying to compete against other people. And when you get to a place of rest, you'll all of a sudden find all these ideas rush to you. So I hope you like this talk. And just as a recap of this talk, some things that high vibration people have in common are, number one, they want to be more rather than try to grasp for more things, more objects and possessions, or try to do more. They like to experience more of life. Number two, they have more of that oneness and lack of separation. And number three is that they smile for no reason because they're just joyous. Their happiness is not based on external circumstances. And then lastly, they are more creative because they're able to step aside from their little ego and their like petty concerns and actually step into something greater and tapping into that source or creative energy. And all of a sudden, these insights start to come. So I hope this helps. Let me know if you'd like to hear a part 4 of these series. Thanks.